There we go. I was muted, so now I'm not. Hopefully. So let's see who's in the chat this morning. It's afternoon. Anders, good morning. Or good evening for you. Okay, so we've got a couple topics for today. Hopefully some folks join us in. We'll see what happens. Omar had brought up a story about Cybertruck steel shortage, so I'll save that one for him. My wife and I were up late last night watching the Saturday Night Live special, as well as the SpaceX rocket, exactly. And so we got a kick out of the Elon hosting and all of his different skits, and as well as Miley Cyrus. She did a good job as well. There were some really nice scenes and some of the usual SNL duds, but it was a good mix. It was good to see everybody having fun in their elements, and them to have fun with their mothers as well. I didn't realize that Grimes was in it until after some folks were saying how well she did. I didn't even remember what skit it was, so that was a bit of a surprise and equally enjoyable. Then we watched a movie. I don't remember what it was. It was some guy who had supernatural abilities and turned out to be like the descendant of Thor or something. And then we went into the SpaceX launch. It was the 10th time they were able to launch a booster and recover it in that booster's lifetime, and it launched a Starlink payload, and that was really cool to see. And then the way that it came back and landed, you could see all the way through the feed from the rocket was all the way through. Unlike as usual, the drone ship feed kind of stuttered a little bit, but it was still exciting to watch. Yeah, the Cybertruck sightings in New York were quite impressive. One of the clubs I'm a member of had somebody drive up to New York and go take photos. I did not even think of that. It would have been perfect. New York is not that far from where I am now. It would have been, what, a 6-hour drive? So 12 hours because you had to turn back around because we weren't really in the mood to do hotels and stuff right now. But that would have been quite an adventure. So what did you think of it, Anders? Did you watch it? And so one of the things I liked about the Cybertruck is that they put it in the showroom and it drove through the streets of New York, and the sightings were just beautiful. And it's not going to be for everyone, but I have a feeling that it's going to be for a lot more people than expect once they get a chance to sit in it. And speaking of sitting in it, they're going to be changing it's likely they're going to be changing the referral program to be more of a incentive for giving test drives than for just spamming out your code everywhere. There were already restrictions on how to give out your code, but what we've seen is that butts in the seats sell cars. So depending on how they do this, and hopefully they time it with kind of like a national, hey, it's good to go for each location, because in some places like India, it would be a very bad idea to switch to in-person test drives right now, and in others like New Zealand, it's been good to go for quite a while. So it will be interesting to see how they handle the new referral program, and hopefully they make it more equitable for everybody, like folks who don't get free Supercharger miles, folks who do, that sort of thing. They also are changing for some of the clubs, you could get codes to get discounts on gears. They're changing how that behaves so that it's something that's more thoroughly utilized as well. So I know a lot of people who have their referral miles that expire. Even before the pandemic, when they actually did have places to go, they just didn't travel outside of their region all that much. So they might have used maybe 10 or 20 Supercharger miles out of 1,500. Other people used them all right away, which tends to be the case for a lot of Tesla owners. You put way more miles than you anticipate because the car is so fun and easy to drive. Let's see. So there was rumors of Giga Berlin being delayed until 2022, and those were addressed, and we'll see if they are completely quashed. But it looks like it was just a reaction to Tesla having continued issues with getting paperwork pushed through the the machinery in Germany. It's not all Tesla. This is an EV show. But with Berlin being allegedly delayed, a lot of folks were starting to panic, and the stock took a little bit of a hit. But really, it seems that a lot of the other bits of that speculation were based off of the fact that they probably won't start with construction of cells on site in Berlin. But that's not unheard of, because Shanghai didn't start with cells. I don't even think that Nevada started with cells, although it is the battery factory at the moment. It actually started with assembling imported cells from Japan and whatnot, so it very quickly got to manufacture cells, because that's why Gigafactory Nevada was built. Yeah, it's very exciting to see all of the new cars coming out, Robert Williams, and I'm curious to see where this all goes, just like with all of the different pickup trucks we're going to see this year, well, within the next year, from all the various manufacturers. It'll be very interesting to see. It's unfortunate that sedans are not doing as well as they have been in the past worldwide, but it's also good to see that a lot of manufacturers are addressing the compact crossover segment, so folks can get that higher seating without too much extra metal around them, and so that will be fun to see. Are they doing well in Germany? They seem to be doing quite well. They are taking up home sales records, and that factory is trucking right along, even though it's not going as fast as they would like. It is definitely moving along, and the latest pictures I saw of it were quite impressive. It's already the correct shape, and they're starting to do the interiors. They've got presses getting installed. It's quite impressive. Let's see what we had here. Close that. And I don't understand. Tell me more. The young lady we spoke about in China last week, who was claiming brake failure. She, Tesla had enough of her slander, and they released a statement on her situation. I linked to it from Tesla Roddy here. Let's see if I can't share screen. There we go. Let's make myself smaller. Yeah, so this article by Simon Alvarez on Tesla Roddy. Tesla is going into the details of what actually happened with the brake failure, and then a couple of other owners have come into multi-car crashes where you can see that the Tesla is the only car that braked, kind of lending credence to the fact that she was lying. This example of this parking lot guard won't let any Teslas in. Oh wow, I didn't want to click on it. He won't let people into the lot because he thinks that he'll be responsible if that he'll be responsible if the car crashes, and it's just the FUD. FUD works very well worldwide. I'll get to that again later in the show. On here's another video. We can see here that the car stops for the crash, and the car behind him does not, so he gets rear-ended. But we'll get into FUD again later in the show. There it is. He stops, and boom. Oh, come on, computer. And here's another one, same deal. Let me mute this. I can't mute it. Let's close it. So basically, that's what was going on with further on the braking situation. What have we got here? Sorry, hard to do this all by myself. Yeah. I think what it is maybe somebody in China is not getting what they're expecting, because this came on rather suddenly, and it was also timed perfectly with what's going on in Germany right now as well. And as we've seen here in the States, that the FUD is quite strong because of the way that the media works on fear and clicks, and there aren't a lot of going back to correct stories. It's not saying there's none, but it's not as popular as it should be for journalists. Somebody was talking about Elon Musk's market cap target is 91% after just 3 years, and then there were some folks complaining about his compensation plan. But my response to that was, we voted on this with the shareholder meetings, and they laid out the plan for his compensation. How are we to punish the man for achieving the roadmap that we asked him to complete as a CEO? If he were failing to complete the roadmap, instead of just doing it really fast, I would have more complaint as a shareholder, because then it would be a case of him not doing his job, rather than, oh my goodness, he's doing his job too well. Oh no, we got to pay him now. We're paying him in stock, so it's not even like we got to come out of shareholder pocket to pay this guy. He's doing a great job. The sales are setting records quarter after quarter, and he's earned it, basically. I mean, literally, that's what we agreed to. He has earned it. I mean, yeah, he is the biggest shareholder, and he did a lot of that, but you got a problem with it, buy more shares and vote him down. That's all I can say to that. Where are we at? So next up was a discussion on the Powerwall Plus, and Teslarati went into how Tesla further detailed the specs of the Powerwall Plus. Basically, you get more power, and it looks like it's got a new central inverter for both the solar and the combined output of each of the Powerwalls, which I thought was really nice. I've got a Powerwall down in the garage. I just need to hook it up. Unfortunately, mine was built before the set of units that could actually receive the boost, but that's okay. I'll get more. Alright, so I'll get the specs. So back to the FUD. In Germany, there's a publication called Frankfurter Allgemeine. I'm sorry, I'm terrible in the pronunciation of it, but supposedly it's a really large, esteemed news organization there, and they released a piece urging the short sale of Tesla stock, which is extremely irresponsible, because we've seen how many billions of dollars people have lost with the shorting of Tesla stock in the U.S. And there's no way this goes well for the people following this advice. I'm sure that the slight little dip that's going to occur is great for the people who are running this ruse, but they're not a. There's actually calls for them to get sanctioned by the German authorities for overstepping their bounds to do this, but I don't really care about them. It's the folks who are bamboozled by this that I am concerned with, because we've seen, like I said, billions of dollars in losses shorting the Tesla stock. I mean, with investing, you've got exposure. You can lose everything you put in it, but when you get into that speculation of short sales, you have unlimited losses, and you could lose more than everything that you put into it because of the way that it works. And just a guy on the internet, stock advice, but it's not really the way to go. I don't know what they were thinking. Let's see. I can share the. I can share the video, not the video, but the screenshot. So for those of you that can read German, it's just irresponsible. Then there was a story about the megapacks and maybe the Powerwalls shifting to lithium iron phosphate, which is great because you don't need high performance cells for stationary storage, not like you do with a vehicle that needs to save on weight and have high power output. The inverter for the stationary storage is limited in what it can do, and so with that limitation in your stationary storage, there's no need to put your most high output cells in the stationary storage, as it's a waste. As long as they can meet the minimum requirements of what they sold you, so that your building doesn't have a brownout or something. What's up, Omar? Is that a Model Y I see?
Hey, what's going on? How's it going?
It's going great.
So I'm testing out the Model Y.
Yeah.
I actually have it for an extended test drive.
That's the way to do it right there.
Pro tip, if you want to do an extended test drive with Tesla, what you do is you schedule your test drive at the end of the day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they're closed on Sunday, so you get the car, you can request to have the car for extended test drive, and then you get the car for Saturday night, all day Sunday. You don't have to turn it in until Monday.
That's good. Yeah, the way I did that was I did same thing, but I also did it on a holiday Monday.
Nice.
Yes.
So you even got an extra day out of it.
I did. Robert Williams says hello.
Hi, Robert.
I touched on a couple stories so far. I did the SNL. What did you think of that?
Oh man. Honestly, I think the best skit of the whole night was the Chad one with
the Mars
SpaceX.
Yeah, I like that one. I liked it a lot. It was going so well, and then he said, "Why don't they let you see your face better?" And I was like, "Oh no, he's not going to do that." And he did.
So, I mean, overall, I think Elon did well. It wasn't the disaster that I thought it might have been. So
Yeah, same.
it's a win. I think he did good. So I'll take it.
Absolutely. And then the part with his mom was a little stilted, but I was also impressed that he came out and said that he's autistic. And I mean, we all suspected it, but it's one thing we can't. We're not doctors, and we're not his doctor, so you can't really do that remotely. But you can have your hints, and for him to say it is just really encouraging, because there are a lot of young folks who are autistic, and they're looked down upon, or they don't have the self-esteem they need to get out and do their thing. And so that was kind of cool to see. Oh, I was going to ask him about the steel, but looks like he lost connection. We'll get him back. And so where were we on the stationary storage we talked about? There's Omar again. There
Sorry
you go.
about that. That's my bad.
Hit the wrong button.
Lost you guys for a second. Yeah, accidentally hit the
peace out button. Yeah. So, what did you think about his exposing that? I thought it was courageous.
Yeah, you know what? Well, first of all, I mean, I kind of always suspected that with him, especially when you look at how awkward he is in public speaking and just around with the public in general.
Yeah.
But the fact that he came out and said it, it's like, I think that's a great thing, because now, number one, if for people that didn't know, it kind of explains some things with him, right? But then at the same time, it also empowers people to say, hey, you know what? For others, you're not just relegated to having some kind of substandard life or anything like that. Like you can still achieve great things and do great things.
Be the richest man in the world for a month.
Exactly.
Not that that's the end
awesome.
all be all of it. I mean, like, literally, there are no limits, and I mean, it's going to be. I mean, there are challenges to be sure. I mean, look at the way that he has interacted with some people in the media, some folks that he's interacted with in general. But when you put that through the lens of his condition, it makes a lot more sense now. And it's not just that he's a jerk. It's like literally he went with the first reaction that came to his mind, and it was the wrong one, and it blew up spectacularly for him. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. I'd say that probably is exactly why he was bullied. I mean,
Yeah, that would most likely be the reason.
yeah, I mean, there's always gonna be bullies, but if you're an easier target or if you're any kind of different, it's done.
Yep. So let me plug this Y in since I'm at the Supercharger.
All right.
I'm gonna
Robert
see
Williams upset to watch.
see what kind of speed I'm getting. I actually had a high state of charge right now, so I'm not gonna get a great speed,
That's okay.
or I'm not gonna get the maximum speed anyway that it's capable of.
Yeah, you had a
But
V3?
something tells me it's gonna charge fast. Something tells me it's gonna charge faster than my Model S does.
Absolutely. Is it a V3 or a V2?
This one's a V2.
All right, cool.
It's the closest one to my house is a V2.
Yeah. Sorry about your mom there, Robert William, and happy Mother's Day to any of the mothers watching as well. That one was the most awkward to me out of all of them. I mean, it wasn't particularly funny because none of them are Zoomers, and like you said, the way that they were kind of making light of the situation with the mother was.
Yeah, I didn't like that one too much either. I mean, you
Yeah.
got a bunch of like millennials pretending to be Gen Zers,
Yes.
and it was, it just
X's and millennials. X's and early millennials.
it's right a mixture of X's and millennials pretending to be Gen Zers, and I
Yeah.
think that fell flat, especially when they were kind of making light of somebody dying,
Yes.
and
The only thing I liked
and
about it was the Hellcat.
and
That was
around
it.
the holidays, it's especially tough for
Yes.
people who have lost loved ones.
On a Mother's Day
And
special.
that's
It was a Mother's Day
that's
special.
why that's why the highest time of year for people to commit suicide is around Thanksgiving and around the holidays, because a lot of people get depressed around those times. You know, people that have lost loved ones, that's when they have a tendency to get the most depressed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I saw
I
what they
think
were
that was a
going
little
for.
insensitive of the writers.
Absolutely. I saw what they were going for, and I saw some of the nuggets of humor. Like the Hellcat thing was funny, but the rest of it was, like you said, it just fell flat for me. And the Martian one was the best. And like I didn't realize that Molly Cyrus's godmother was Dolly Parton. That was really cool. And
And I
all
saw
three of her performances.
Elon's girlfriend was in there. She was Peach in
That one was me. I didn't push anything. He just blinked out.
Oh, did,
Uh, yeah, I
did I
didn't
just
realize.
drop out again?
No, it was me. It was me this time. I didn't realize that she that she was in it until after it was over. I was like, oh, it was. When I thought back to it, it was like, oh, that makes sense, and it was well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Elon like brought in all his peoples pretty much.
Right.
He had his girlfriend in there. He had his
His
mom in
mom.
there.
Yes. So I saved a story for you because you put it in the chart. The Cybertruck steel shortage. Say that 8 times fast.
Which one? The Cybertruck? What?
Steel shortage. You brought that up at the
Oh, the
close of the
steel.
last show.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm kind of concerned about the steel shortage that's going on right now, and the price of steel has skyrocketed in like the last year. It's like literally like 5 times as high as it was. So by that shortage and by that high cost, I'm a little concerned about them being able to get enough supply for the Cybertruck and being able to keep the price what they originally promised. Because when they originally priced it out, they weren't anticipating a skyrocketing cost of steel.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are a couple concerns that I have on that.
Yeah. For me, I'm wondering if that's why they are continuing to make the steel on the Starship and make it a little bit thinner, because if it's thinner, you need less of it, right? And since the Starliner Starship and the Cybertruck use the same metal, it would make sense to take care of that
Yeah,
synergy.
and if they can save some material there, that'll go a long way, especially over such a large amount of it.
Yeah, the the rumors that it might not land this year are I'm starting to think that they may be more and more true. That they might not even be the
Well, if you remember, Elon said that he was hopeful that they'll get
hoping.
some out
Yeah,
this year.
yeah,
He didn't say they were definitely gonna be doing that.
right.
So I
Even
think
the tokens. Yeah,
optimistically he was hoping that they would be able to get it out this year, but realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen until next year.
and I'd be fine with that because it means that they have more time to get it right. And like you said, it allows that bubble in the commodity prices to pass, because that way
Right.
they don't have to eat it because they're gonna have to eat it for the first couple units. Otherwise they get raked through social media, the regular media, and if they
Yep.
if they eat it, that could be bad for them. And if they don't eat it, then that's gonna be even worse. So if they just delay, yeah, Eddie, definitely some people will be paying for sure. And yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Williams, it's not going to be
I mean, if they
exclusively.
do a slow ramp up
Yeah, I can see them doing that. Like
with their production,
yeah,
what they'll do is it'll be a really low production vehicle,
yeah,
and they'll put the most expensive ones out first, so that'll help offset some of the cost because it'll have um a higher projected cushion basically,
yeah,
a higher profit margin.
exactly.
Um, so they can do that, and then by slow having the ramp up be really slow for getting it really to the high production level, that may help give them extra time to get supply issues worked out and everything.
Yeah. Robert Williams, what I think they would probably do is they would do omega casting for the frame, like the parts that aren't the exoskeleton, where like around the door frames and that sort of thing. But I don't see them switching from steel at this stage in the production, especially after last night. Some folks asked him what's going to happen with the design when they showed off the prototype yet again, and he said it's going to look mostly the same. And in order for that to be the case, they would have to not make too many more changes, especially since at this point their pencils down, locking in all the suppliers, locking in the production line, that sort of thing. Oh, tell your dad hello. So we talked about the speculation on the Berlin delays, but I talked about how Tesla just kind of waved them away and said it's just paperwork. Then we looked at some crashes that prove that the Chinese troll lady is yet again lying, and we talked about some of the effects of what her campaign is doing. Like there was this situation with the Chinese police not letting the Teslas on the freeway that they claimed were was all cars, but really the people there were seeing only people with Tesla cars were being stopped from getting on the freeway. And then we saw a parking lot attendant who was complaining that he would be liable if the car's brakes failed. Uh, Lies, I can't stand liars. And then we talked about how some folks were complaining that Elon is rapidly progressing through his roadmap of what they told him he needed to do to get paid. And I was like, are you mad that he's getting paid? I mean, you voted for it. It was no secret. There was a roadmap. And then I figured these same people would be whining even louder if he was not meeting his targets, like if he was just failing, because that would mean the company would be failing if he was failing. What did you think about that? Okay, and then let's see. We talked about the. Oh, we lost him again. All right, so we were up to this one. 500,000 Starlink orders for the customers of the service, that one was super interesting to me. I mean, I knew it was selling well, but I didn't realize it was selling, 500,000 orders already. And who was it? One of the spaceflight news organizations was explaining that they are just 3 launches away from having a full, complete first shell. And with that first shell, they'll be at something like 80 to 90% coverage of the planet for customers. And they're going to start on the next couple of shells of satellites in the constellation, which will allow faster coverage and more robust coverage. Because right now, if you're in the gap between satellites, you'll lose coverage for a moment while it transitions to the next satellite. Yeah, I thought so. And so I'm curious what's going to happen with ours, because hopefully they give you a warning before they just hit your card up and ship the unit. They said they would, but it is a Musk Co company, and they're not the greatest at communicating before stuff happens. So hopefully, if my bank account's a little light, I'll at least remember I ordered the thing. I've got another thing to share with you here. Let's see, share screen. So GM is sharing they've got their E-Crate motor. They put it in a one-off military integration vehicle to show what they can do, and hopefully they get a contract, because we need more electric vehicles everywhere, even on the battlefield, especially someplace like that, because you've got a lot of logistics going on, dragging around all that fuel and running it back, and you waste so much and can burn so much fuel, and they don't necessarily meet the emission standards that we would expect. But I've seen their prototypes of the Supercharger situations. They just have these massive rolls of solar cells that they roll out behind some of these vehicles, and they can power a base with them. And it was really cool to see, and it would make them more flexible. I don't know. I mean, they're going to fight the wars anyway, so at least do it a little better. But that's what we're working with there, and it's better than diesel. There we go. So then we saw earlier in the week Starship Sn15. That one was phenomenal. I mean, it launched up, it did its thing. And it was a shorter flight than the last one that worked. Was that Sn10 or Sn11? And then after it came back, it did the belly flop perfectly. It lighted all the engines, and then it turned one off right away. It did the pivot, landed safely, softly, and then we waited for 10 minutes, and it didn't blow up and go in a stream. So the next thing they were able to do was they were able to start moving it back to the hangar, and they actually had moved Sn16 into the back corner of the hangar. So it looks like Elon said they're going to try and fly Sn15 again. This speculation whether they're going to do it with the same engines. I would actually kind of hope that they don't do it with the same engines, at least not for this flight, because this is the first one that came back in one piece, and there's so much to be learned from this flight that you couldn't get from the data they were recovering from all the other flights. And
I'm hoping that they fly 16 first.
Yes.
Before they try to refly 15.
Yeah. Because then they can continue to make their lessons and learn what all they can before trying to put 15 back up there again. And then they not only does it give them more time, but then it also allows more flights in the amount of time that they have available before trying to jump back. I agree. I think 60.
But 17 is almost built.
17's almost done? Wow. They are so fast. And then there was one that they turned into a tank, or if it was built to be a tank, period. But basically the tanks are just starships without the flight hardware. And I mean, when you think about what a rocket is just a fuel tank with an opening at the end. So it'll be fun to see how they... Yeah, because their first orbital flight, they're going to need to do in-flight refueling. Maybe not the very first one; they might not do it, but they're gonna need to do some in-flight refueling pretty early in the test. And Elon's saying that they're gonna try and get to Mars for 2024 unmanned, and then after that, our next opportunity is well, our next practical opportunity is 2026. We can still get there at any point, but there comes the point where if you launch early, you're going to get passed by the folks who launch later, and you'll waste a lot of fuel doing it.
Well, I mean, so one of the things they're gonna have to accomplish, which I hope maybe by SN20, is they're gonna have to make an orbital class rocket. They're gonna have to be like, in orbit.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to do some orbit test flights and stuff like that, and bring them back and make sure that they land safely and all that.
yeah,
And then eventually, go to the moon.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's part of what they were going for with each of these flights. We've seen them put more and more of the heat protection tiles on the ship, and I think that is one. They were testing the attachment. They were testing the procedure of getting them on there, but I wouldn't doubt that they might actually push it a little hard on the next one, see if they can't get a little bit extra friction on the tiles, get them a little warm, and see what goes on. Yeah, Omar, they're saying that you're coming in a little quiet. If it gives you a chance to adjust your volume on the app there, that would be good.
Okay. How do I sound now?
You're still a little low.
Any? No, still low. Okay.
Yeah, still low. It should be down by the mute button. There should be a little arrow to adjust your volume, or to set it to auto.
Yeah, it's set to auto right now, but
Oh, maybe make it harder.
Turn it
There
up.
you go. Try it out.
How about now?
Now it's at a good level. All right, cool. So we talked about SN15.
Oh, wait, now I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Uh-oh. So we've got more Starlink missions coming up, and it'll be exciting to see. Like I said, they've got 3 more to go, and then we should have most of the world covered. In fact, they just during last night's launch, they opened it up to France as customers, so you can actually reserve at Starlink.fr, I believe. Either way, if you go to Starlink.com, you can find your way to the French version of Starlink and sign up for it. And so NEO in Norway has launched battery swap stations for their ES8 and ET7, which is really cool. I actually have a handful of shares of NEO, like literally I think I have 2. And it's been fun to watch them, and I don't know that battery swap has very far to go, but kudos on them for trying. I mean, Better Place failed at it, and Tesla failed at it, but maybe they can make it work. But even if they can't, it's still an electric car that can recharge at home, so you don't have to rely on the battery swap, but it's kind of their thing right now. And they also opened up a couple of service centers. So it's good to see, like I said, more EVs, less combustion.
I like the fact that there's more EVs and everybody's trying to, figure out how they're doing it and do their thing. But I don't know about that whole battery swap thing.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think that's really going to catch on.
Yeah, the only way I'd be comfortable with a regular battery swap is if I was leasing the pack, and then I didn't care which one I got back. But I'm hoping theirs is similar to Tesla's, where with Tesla, if you didn't come back to get your original battery pack, depending on if your new pack was older or your new pack was newer, if it was older, they would just let you go. But if the old pack, or if the pack that you had now from the swap was newer than your original pack, they would charge you. So if you didn't want to get a surprise $3,000 bill, you'd go back and get your original backpack.
That's a pretty good incentive there.
Yes, and depending on, like, I mean, imagine if you had a regular S85 and they were still doing the swap today, and you swapped your S85 for like a 90, new 90. It could be up to $10,000. So I mean, there's huge incentive to go back and get your original pack back. But I don't think they sold the facility, but they shuttered it. And as we see with the Model 3 and Model Y, you can't easily change the pack. It can be done, but it's not easy.
Yeah, I
Whereas,
think Tesla pretty much completely gave up on that.
yeah. And part of that was the reason they even did it in the first place was because California was trying to pursue rapid refueling, which Tesla had two approaches to. They had the Supercharger network and they had the battery swap. But you got extra credits if you had hydrogen because they were also falling for that hydrogen scam. And I mean, I know hydrogen physically works, but economically and ecologically, it does not work today. But
Yeah, to me that the hydrogen never made sense. It just seemed like it was much more efficient just to you know recharge batteries.
yeah, in some cases,
I mean,
fossil combustion is more efficient than the hydrogen process that they did. Some cases, not all of
in
them.
some cases, yeah,
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. Well, I mean, if you think about it, they were still trying to follow the same model
right. That's
as
what I was gonna
fossil
say.
fuels.
Yeah,
You create the fuel somewhere else, you transport the fuel to a station, right, and then
right.
along your way, you take your vehicle to the station to fill it up with that fuel,
Yeah,
and it's basically the same model that gas uses today.
yep. And I think that's what they were going for, particularly the Japanese, Honda and Toyota, and the Japanese government. The other part of it was that you can't fill it up at home. I mean, not practically. I'm sure that somebody would have come up with a hydrogen dairy rig or dairy can, but I I don't imagine too many people would be comfortable with how a hydrogen dairy can would work. Here, let me hold this 6,000 psi container. Hope I don't trip.
Right.
But I think that's really all it was they didn't want to change anything about the paradigm. I mean, I understand that being comfortable to not change anything, but sometimes changing stuff is just the best way to go about it, rather than trying to shoehorn the old into the new. But that's where we are. I wanted to say next that Michelin is trying to make tires out of recycled plastic bottles, which I thought was pretty cool. We have a lot
I
of
like it.
plastic. Yeah.
I like it. I mean, anything to recycle, reuse the old materials, I'm with it.
Yeah, they're talking about
Um,
40% recyclable materials. That's like a huge step up from today. Yeah, but we'll
oh
see.
yeah,
We'll see what comes of it. I mean, if they are successful, I mean, that's the most polluting part of an EV today. Through the future is the tires and brakes, and or at least locally, I should say.
well,
And
I mean, tires is the one thing that you're always going to have to be replaced,
yes,
and you're going to have to replace them on a regular basis,
to
and that's with all
150,000
cars,
miles.
right?
Yeah, all cars.
So, so yeah, that'd be awesome if you can make it out of recycled materials.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
mean, like
there's
right now, even tires themselves, they're not recycling really. The only thing they're really doing with tires is chopping them up and turning them into rubber mulch, right?
rubber mulch,
For
playgrounds,
playgrounds and
mats.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I mean, if you can I'm surprised they haven't figured out a way to just like recycle them and make new tires out of them. But
Yeah. Anders, you're right. Over in my state, and in the next one over in Maryland, there's a independent gas station that they ripped out all of their pumps and they put in 4 DC fast chargers. And then there's a Wawa that launched here. It's one of the regional gas stations. They launched with I call it the gasless station. They launched with was it 8 V3 superchargers and no gas pumps. And then a bunch of the Wawas around here and a bunch of the Sheetz gas stations, they have superchargers or other DC fast chargers instead of Royal Farms as well, instead of gas pumps, and I think that was really good, and I'd like to see more of it as electric cars become more common. It reloaded the chat. Okay. Technical difficulties there. They reloaded the chat on me.
Today's technical difficulty day.
It is. It is. So our friends
My
Gravity. Huh?
my internet's not great where I'm at right now, so I'm actually
It's
moving.
it's doing pretty well. So our friends at Drive Tesla Canada have brought up an article about Gravity is launching a fleet of Model Ys for the New York taxi fleet. Look at that! It's beautiful. They've had great success with their handful of Model 3s that they started with, and so now they're expanding to Model Y. It gives you a little more room for both in the cargo space and room for the passengers, and I think that is the right move.
I think the Model Y is excellent for that.
Yeah. Imagine you
I
had some
mean,
people in the back.
I mean, because the amount of room that you have in this car is I think is better than the 3.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I absolutely love it for that. And the amount of room that you have in the back, if people have bags and stuff, they're going to the airport or wherever, and it's just, I think it's great.
Absolutely. So are you in a 5-seat or a 7-seat?
This is a 5-seater that I have.
Cool. What color?
This one's black,
All right.
and it's got the black interior.
Okay. I like the black exterior on the white interior.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Oh, I like dark interiors.
yeah.
Just
I do like the dark interior, but coming from my Model S with the black seats and the black Alcantara, I felt kind of that it was a cave. So I wanted to open it up a little bit.
okay.
Yeah.
I like the Batcave.
Nothing wrong with the Batcave. It makes it harder for people to see in when they're trying to steal from
Yeah, that too.
you. So with these taxis, what they're finding is that a lot of folks were trying their best to get the Model 3 as a responder for them rather than the Crown Vics or the other eligible minivans and those sorts of things. And so uh, I think they'll see an uptick in rider satisfaction, tips, everything if they get everybody into Tesla or other nice, clean, experienced EV.
Plus, they're so smooth too.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars are smooth, quiet.
Too bad they make them so hard to stretch. Make some good limos.
Yeah, yeah.
So Tata, the Indian auto manufacturer, they own Land Rover now, don't they? And
Do
Jaguar.
they?
They,
They
they own a couple of British brands that we like, and they also, just like Tesla, have an energy division, and they won a 250 megawatt solar contract at 3.4 cents per kilowatt hour. So that is really cool to see all of these
impressive.
all these automakers are, once you go electric, it opens your revenue possibility, and that is really cool.
So what's
Yeah,
funny is I was at a Supercharger yesterday, and I was talking to a couple people that were there, and other Tesla owners. But there was one guy that pulled up, and he was just interested. He was just curious, right? He
yeah,
didn't own a EV yet, and out of everybody there, he asked everybody, would you ever consider going back to gas? And hands down, everybody there is like, absolutely not. There's no way in the world I'd ever go back to gas. Once you go EV, the experience it just blows gas out of the water. You don't want nothing to do with gas anymore.
right. I'm
And
trying to.
so, just my anecdotal, experience. I like most EV owners that I've talked to have pretty much said the same thing. And so I was surprised when that article had came out a while back about a bunch of EV owners switching back to gas.
Yeah, I found out that that was an older article, or not older article, older study that finally made its way out, and they they were looking at was it 2014, 2015, and they were looking at owners of plug-ins and EVs, and
Okay, that makes more sense now.
yeah,
So back then, um, if it wasn't a Tesla, you pretty much had a low range EV because all the
exactly,
other EVs were like 100 miles or less of
yeah.
range.
And so you had a lot
So
of the folks who own the Fiat 500e and a bunch of the plug-in hybrids that were willing to switch back to gas. And by a bunch, I mean 1 in 5, which is not that much, really. I mean, it's higher than you would like, but most of the
But still, at
folks,
20%, if you think about it, that means that 80% of them still were like, nope, not going back.
exactly. And when you consider the reason that a lot of them were probably switching back is that you had the original Nissan Leaf and the Fiat 500e. A lot of the original Leafs didn't have fast charging, but a lot of them did, and none of the Fiat 500es had fast charging, and they both had pretty small range. And so you do get kind of tired of making concessions day in and day out. But then when you also look at it, a lot of the folks who had plug-in hybrids, they didn't really consider them to be electric cars. They plugged in when they could, and so when they didn't make that model anymore, why not go back to a gas car?
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then
I
I
mean,
did double check. I'm at Tata International's website. Their passenger vehicle brands are Tata and Jaguar Land Rover. I thought they had
it's
more, but I guess
confirmed.
they sold some. Confirmed. Here, I'll share screen. Proof. It's Tata International. Passenger brands. Commercial vehicles. Where'd it go? Come back. Come back. Ah, there we go. Passenger vehicles. Jaguar Land Rover. Oh, nice little picture. Anyway.
There you go.
And
So speaking
so
of other manufacturers, so
yeah,
just to go rewind back to our first story, it
yeah,
was interesting to see other
yes.
manufacturers advertising, during SNL. So
You had Lucid, Volkswagen, Volkswagen. I said Volkswagen.
it was Lucid. I think I saw Volkswagen. I think did Ford do one too?
Ford did one. I saw the Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you had three different manufacturers advertising their EVs during the SNL episode that Elon Musk was going to be on because they knew all the EV enthusiasts would watch that episode.
yeah,
So it's funny how they're spending millions of dollars in advertising. Tesla still doesn't spend on advertising. It's crazy.
yeah,
So what they did instead is they drove the Cybertruck, or drove it around in New York,
yeah.
and then put it on display in New York while Elon was in town. So
Did you go see it?
I did not.
I thought about it, but they'd already moved it by the time I thought about it. I was like, eh,
So I know some
12-hour
people
trip.
that did go up. I had well, I couldn't go up yesterday because it's kind of out of my way, and then I already had plans to pick
Go
up
get
this
that.
Model Y.
Yeah.
So yeah, time wise, I couldn't really quite work it out. I couldn't do both.
Yeah, if I knew what time he was leaving today, I might have tried it, but
Yeah.
it's a long drive to be wrong.
Yeah, and then I thought, well, if they're gonna do a tour, if they're kind of touring, I mean, obviously people have seen it around California forever, but then they were in Texas,
Yeah.
and now they're in New York. I'm like,
If they come
if
south
they
at
kind
all,
of
I'll go.
take it on tour, maybe if they stop by Philadelphia, I'll go there, or maybe if they
Yeah.
go to, I don't know, DC or something. I don't know.
Oh, DC would be perfect.
I mean, it'd be great for you, right?
Yeah. So hop and
I mean,
skip.
from all the pictures and video and everything that I've seen of it, the only thing that's really missing for me it is being able to see it in person for scale.
Yeah.
Because you know it's different when you're looking at something on a video than when you're actually seeing it in person.
Yeah.
Which is one of the big things I had to like stress to my wife about the Model Y because she was still very unsure about the Model Y. She had never really experienced it in person.
Yeah. I mean, even the Model 3 is bigger than you expect. I mean, it's got
It
these
is.
curves that make it look smaller than it is. And then you try to park it, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a real car.
So what's funny is when we got the Y, my wife was like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely smaller than my car." I'm like, "No, it's about the same size." No, 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 no way in the world. It's smaller. Okay, we get it home. I park it in the garage next to her car, and we're comparing. She's like, "Oh yeah, they're about the same size." I'm like, "I told you."
It's that camouflage.
It's the I'm like, it's the curves, it's the
Exactly.
aerodynamics that throws you off.
It does. Yeah. And they definitely have her be careful around curbs for the first couple weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But if she drives the S at all, then she should be used to the footprint. Just tell her to pretend it's the S.
So I had her driving the Y earlier today,
Hmm.
and then I asked her about it, compared to the S, and she said hands down she likes the Y way better than the S. She said it feels a lot more like her car that she's used to, as
Yeah.
far as first of all the ride height. She's used to sitting higher up,
Yeah.
and then the width of it. It's not. It
It doesn't take the
feels
whole lane.
it feels like it's not as wide, even though it dimensionally it is almost the same width as the S.
Hmm.
But because it's taller,
It doesn't
you're
feel as wide.
it doesn't feel as wide,
Yeah.
and it's just perspective is different, and it's not as long as the S.
This is true.
That extra foot of length or whatever it is on the S, I mean that makes a world of difference as well on the
Yeah, that,
handling.
that executive saloon style.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the autopilot? I mean, I know you've used it before, but what do you think about this version of it?
So I like it, but it seems to me like obviously they're still refining it and doing things to make it better. But right now, to me, it's a little too cautious. Like it
Oh yeah.
seems to like break at times when it shouldn't.
Yes.
A little bit too much for me, for my taste.
The version you're on, how's it do with yellow lights?
It likes to stop at them.
Okay, good. That's what mine does too.
It
In the
was screaming
video,
at me. There was a yellow blinking light for where
fire
there's a
station.
firehouse,
Yeah.
and it was like screaming at me because I'm like, no, no, go. So I put my foot on the pedal to let it know, hey, no, you can just keep going. And then
Yeah.
it was like screaming at me, like, no,
Beep
no,
beep beep
no,
beep
stop, stop.
beep.
I'm like, no, go.
Yeah. The in the video I've been cutting together for almost 2 weeks now. I've been really slow with this particular video. I deep dive into the latest version that I'm on, and it seems that whoever fixed it is gone or not in control anymore because um, it doesn't even like any yellow light that's on a sign, even if the light's not blinking. If the light is there, it wants to look at it and do stuff. I'm like, come on now, let's just ride. Yeah. Um, so the Model 3 and Model Y price went up again.
Yeah, it must be the chips or something. I don't know.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be supply issues.
Yes. So
I
they're
mean,
now
the
they.
the Model S and X got pushed back to January,
Mm-hmm. Oof.
and the Model Y and the Model 3 price went up,
Yep, they went up to 39.5 now.
and they sold out for this quarter. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that they sold out for
if
the
you order
quarter.
one, you're not getting it until July.
Yeah, July or later. And the
Yeah, or
longer you
later.
wait, the later it is. So that was pretty cool to see. They, I mean, as a shareholder, it's good to see them doing well, and as somebody interested in a cleaner, greener future, that's also really good to see that they're putting out effective EVs.
Well, it's
And
tough to come out with new products and ramp up and have enough production and keep up with a high demand and trying to keep up with high production and everything like during a pandemic. So like if you remember, like all last year we were in a pandemic. We're still basically still in the pandemic, but things are starting to lighten up a little bit.
A little bit.
But um, you know, for the amount of production and the amount of demand that they have for it, it's just I'm sure it's extremely difficult for them to try to keep up, and they're trying to build new factories at the same time.
Yes, 3 of them.
Right.
Yes. Um, but on that same note, they were the best-selling car in Europe for quarter one. So UK, they sold 7,300 cars. That made them number 11 in the entire market. Number 4 in March. In France, they sold 5,763 cars, which makes them number 9 in the whole market in March. Germany, 6,031. Norway, 2,565. Italy in 1641, and in Sweden they sold 1357. And
Now, are they the number one car in Norway?
I don't think they are anymore. It should have called that out. But those are impressive numbers. And that's all Model 3 basically, because there were no Model S's, and and the Model Y isn't everywhere in Europe yet. Is it anywhere in Europe yet? I think it's just in
I
China.
don't.
China and the
Yeah,
U.S. and
I don't think
Canada.
it's in Europe yet. The Model Y.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's in Mexico yet. U.S., Canada, and China are the only ones I'm sure of for Model Y. I think you can order it in other places now, but
They
I
are
don't know.
coming soon
Yeah.
for Europe. I mean, that's going to be the big thing with Berlin.
Yes,
When
that's
they get to
Berlin's
Berlin,
job.
they're gonna be kicking out those Model Ys like crazy.
Yeah. It's configured right now exclusively as a Model Y factory, and they'll add more later. And the world plug-in sales in March were pretty good. Model 3 sold 75,888 units. The Wulong Honggang Mini EV was 39,745. Model Y was 32,197. The GW Aura Black Cat was 85,31. The BYD Han EV was 79,56. Hyundai Kona 76,32, 23, sorry, and the Nissan Leaf, amazingly, the new gen 75,11, which beat out the Audi e-tron and Chevrolet Bolt. The e-tron actually beat the Bolt by just a handful of units. The e-tron did 6420 and the Bolt did 6123.
I'm surprised the e-tron beat the Bolt
I
considering
was
the
too.
price
Yes,
difference.
yes. But that might be why though. They did refresh the Bolt this year. So they got the Bolt and the Bolt EV, and then the folks buying cars right now are either buying out of need or they have a little bit of extra money, and so the higher price car might be able to sell into this market easier than the lesser price car.
Well, what's funny is I've been seeing like my local Chevy dealership down here.
Hmm.
They got a bunch of Bolts on sitting on their lots, and I'm like, wow, the Bolt's not really moving. Like, what's going on? And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a nice car. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't. And the Bolt owners that I've talked to, they're happy with their vehicle.
Oh yeah,
So I
everybody I
don't
know
know
that
why
owns a
they're
Bolt
not
loves
selling.
them. Yeah.
I, I
So,
think I think the Model 3 is just eating the Bolt's lunch. I think
oh yeah.
that's the problem. I mean, they're so close in price. When you're deciding between a Model 3 and a Bolt, you're just like, uh, yeah, I'll take
I'll
the
take a
Tesla.
Model 3. Exactly.
I mean, take that Supercharger
Especially
network over
the
there.
size, yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing I think really the Bolt's got over the Model 3 is the hatchback. Uh,
right.
yeah. It's not the prettiest, exactly, Eddie. And Eddie is a Bolt owner, so
Well, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's
Um,
true. They could have made it look a little nicer.
they stepped it up a hair for the current model year that's out, but they while they were in there changing stuff, they could have done more. Speaking
Well, I
of
mean,
the
like if you look at the Leaf, the newer gen Leaf looks a lot better than the old Leaf, in a lot of
yeah,
people's opinion.
it
Because the old
does.
Leaf had those big bug eyes, and it was like
Yeah,
weird, the weird tail lights and everything. It looked really, really weird. And they did that on purpose because they wanted it to stand out and say, "Hey, look at
yeah.
me, I'm different. I'm electric or whatever." And
They
it
could have done
served
it
that
without the bug
purpose.
eyes.
But yeah, they could have. But but then when they went to the new gen Leaf, they made it look, much more like a normal
Like a fancy
car.
Versa.
So
Yeah, yeah. But speaking of the Bolt, this is not a hit piece. This is just facts. Around the corner from me, there was a bolt fire in a garage, and it destroyed half the house. So if you have a bolt and you get a notice on your screen about the software update, you should probably take it. And then also, don't charge your car to full. You should probably set it to 90% or lower, or whatever Chevrolet tells you to. If they say lower than that, and don't park it in the house until they come up with a fix. This happened with the Hyundai Kona, right? Either way, the Hyundai and the Kia, the Kia Niro, Hyundai Kona. I think it was just the Hyundai.
I think it was the Kona. Yeah, I think it
Kona
was the
too?
Honda.
Okay. Um,
No, wait, it was.
it might have been the twins, but either way, Hyundai got their situation fixed, and they are actually replacing every battery pack. Chevy assures us that they can do theirs with just software, and Hyundai did say the same thing. They have the same supplier, but a different formula. So just be cautious. They're still even with this, there's still more gas fires than bolt fires, and
There are, but
yeah,
that's
new
still
gas.
headlines like, I mean, stories like that are not very reassuring for
They,
people,
they, they, they
especially
are.
when you have something that's so new. So when it's something different and it's new, people are already afraid of change, and then when they see stuff like that, it doesn't
Yeah,
help.
yeah. But literally, it only happens to cars with a full battery. So just don't park in the garage and don't fill it all the way up. As we've seen as Tesla owners, we don't need full charge to do anything except tow across multiple states quickly.
Right.
and to get the best drag race scores. But at that point, if you're gonna go racing your Bolt, maybe don't race the Bolt. But if you do, then be mindful of what's going on underfoot. Because by the time you're done racing the Bolt, it won't be full anymore. We got this tweet from Tesla Charging, which is the official account for the Tesla Supercharger network. And they made the announcement that there are now 25,000 superchargers around the world and counting.
All right. Nice milestone there.
Yes. and we're talking stations. We're not talking handles. There are 25 individual sites that you can put on your map and go to.
Yeah, 25,000 supercharger locations around the world. That's insane. Nobody else
Absolutely.
has anything close to that.
Right. And there's some that are working their way to compete, but they're not there yet, and we need more.
They got a lot of catching up to do. But hey, listen, I'm
Yeah,
glad. The more the merrier.
absolutely. And Robert Williams is back. Welcome back. Hope Dad's okay. And let's close my sharing. And sorry, I'm getting smoother at this, but I'm still not there yet. We talked about Elon Musk saying they might refly Sn15. That was cool. And then Rivian has an experience site at stories.rivian.com where they are, how did I put this? I called it a Rivian walkthrough because they're getting ready to start deliveries of their vehicles next month in June. A buddy of mine is getting his in July, and hopefully I'll be able to take a little road trip and go see him and my other friend, his wife, and their child, and their car. And
Looking forward to that. I want to see. I want to see a Rivian.
yes. Let's see, they got a little video on their site here that's playing, making my computer stutter a little bit, but sizing up the R1T. And I am excited because some of you know I drove up to New York to go to the Rivian unveiling owner party, and I enjoyed it. I mean, their power frunk is huge. I mean, you thought Omar's Model S frunk was huge. This thing is gigantic. Look at that. And its power. I don't know why nobody else has a power frunk from the factory. I'm looking at getting.
I really don't know why they don't do a power front because I mean they have power trunks. Why
Yeah,
not do the same thing for the front? I don't know.
it would make it more useful. I'm looking at getting the aftermarket one put on mine eventually. I gotta be able to justify the extra scratch. I didn't realize that the handles were flush. That's cool. I do like the gear tunnel here, and I was a little disappointed to see that the SUV, the R1S, did not have the gear tunnel. But at the same time, it doesn't really need it because it's already enclosed. But the steps would have been nice.
So when are you getting yours?
My Rivian? Never. If I come into millions upon millions of dollars, maybe. Because I've already got the Cybertruck on order.
Yes.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
next.
you don't need two trucks, right?
I don't need two trucks, but if I could splurge, my next splurge after the truck would be to do the Roadster if I somehow could find a way, and then I might be done with cars for a while. And then I've still got the Aptera on the way too. So I mean, how many cars does a family with one driver need? Although
Yeah.
the if full self driving makes its way out, my wife could drive the Model X all day long. Yeah, 18 car show. I saw mine in 19 in the wintertime. And I monopolized the time of the engineers and had a blast. And it made an okay video. Made an okay video. I could have done better, but the music, I was still new to YouTube, and the music scared me because, well, was this after my run-in with Sony Music Entertainment? Lying bastards. They said I used a Kids Bop song, and I did not, because it was at a drag race with the Model X. And what self-respecting DJ would play a Kids Bop song for a bunch of adults after 10 o'clock at night? I don't think there are any. And I reviewed the tape, and it was not a Kids Bop song. It was one that Kids Bop copied, but it was by the original artist. And since then, YouTube has revamped their copyright system so that you can't do drive-by copyrights like that. But at the time, it was still on the old system, and I was already reeling. So I was like, there's music here. I can't do jack. And so I didn't. So yeah, that was Rivian, and I am excited for this because the whole experience that goes over how to charge your Rivian, talks about their cold weather testing, their factory. They're going to do their own insurance, just like Tesla, and they're going
That
to do
doesn't
mobile,
surprise me at all.
right? And they're going to do mobile service. Well, after what happened with Fisker before they became Karma Rivera, the Fisker Karma, it got to a point after Hurricane Sandy in New York where banks wouldn't give you any loans on one, and the insurance providers were really scared to touch them. So coming out strong and having your own insurance helps the rest of the customers who don't want to switch to your insurance, because they can point and say, hey, look, those guys have insurance, I will switch. And then your agent is going to put pressure on the company and say, hey, I'm about to lose a really good customer. You got to work something out, guys. And so everybody wins.
Well, not only that, you're getting extra revenue too. So
Exactly. And just like Tesla, their car is full of telematics, so they can dial it in just right with, since they know exactly what you're doing with the pedal, how you drive, how much you
they
drive.
know how you drive. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, Green the Only found some code in the cars. He found some code earlier that there was a way for them to. They were starting to collect all this stuff, but then he found more evidence that they're getting ready to roll this thing out with the full telematics, and it's both exciting and scary. But as long as you drive well, you don't got to worry about it. Dad changed insurance, now he's paying. Where he was before. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the OBD dongles, because like all the little phone apps before, when I had the Volt and the Prius, they would all say I took my turns aggressively and that I accelerated aggressively, but it really wasn't. It's just that the EV, it'll pick up. I wasn't launching it, but it doesn't ease out and then shift. so those apps weren't tuned for that smooth push. They thought I was launching it hard, and I wasn't. Speaking of that, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Let's go into. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So from the insurance front, though, um, so like you said, it you know Tesla and Rivian and others, they're gonna have so much more detail about it. It's gonna be a lot better than those dongles, those that some insurance companies use and whatnot, because they'll have, I mean, they have cameras all over the car and everything else, so they'll have like real data that they can compare basically the way you drive compared to whatever type of automated driving system that they have. That even if it's not engaged, it may be ghosting in the background and just comparing how you drive compared to what it would do. And
Exactly.
I mean, they can just get so much more granular with you know how well you drive, comparatively speaking.
Exactly. And in the case of both Rivian and Tesla, they own the factory, so they can do the repairs a lot cheaper than anybody else. Assuming they choose to do the body shop route, which Tesla has a couple actual owned body shops. The rest are partners, and I imagine that Rivian's going to do the same because once you have your own insurance company, you don't really want to give that money up at a profit when you can do it in house for much cheaper.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's the other aspect too of, if you look at it, they know exactly how safe their vehicles are. So one of the big um, factors in crashes is bodily injury, right? So that
Yeah.
hospital bills they can cost way more than the car ever would to
Yeah.
replace. So and God forbid loss of life, with lawsuits
Yes.
and everything else, what that could end up happening. But just going off of injuries, like if you look at how safe the vehicles are, you're much more likely to have less injuries in a crash, if you're in a Tesla than if you're in, let's say, a gas car.
Yeah. And then they also are going to do mobile service for as much as they can as well, which is a good touch because as
Sounds like
a
they're copying somebody's playbook.
well, I mean they're going for conquest customers. So if you can't do everything that the person's last company can do, it makes it harder to one get them, and then even harder to keep them. The minute that they have to start coming into the shop for stuff that doesn't need to do in the shop, then they're gone as soon as the lease is up, or if they get another one, or if they lemon you, they're
But see,
gone.
I don't think they're going to take a lot of customers from um,
They'll take
Tesla.
some.
I
They'll take
think they're
some.
going to get a. I think they're going to take a lot of customers from gas vehicle owners.
Absolutely.
I think there's going to be a lot of crossover where people who wanted a truck, didn't really have any options, and now they have a truck. It's like, oh wow, there's a truck. I can get that right now. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of people that are turned off by the very different looking truck that Tesla came out with.
Yeah.
And Elon said it himself before they even released it. Hey, this isn't for everybody. You know,
Exactly.
so so for those that want that normal pickup truck look, the Rivian's coming out with a very nice product. I
They
mean,
are. Yeah.
you're not really going to be able to go wrong with either or,
Yeah.
whether it's Rivian or Tesla. So I really think the majority of the people that they're going to be bringing in is going to be people that currently are tired of paying for gas.
Yes. And then also you've got they're taking the best of what I mean. Not that they're the older company of the two, but not that they're taking what they've seen has worked out in the field. Tesla customers are raving about mobile service, and when I spoke with the engineers and the managers and the I don't know if I spoke with RJ very long or not, but when I was talking to them about charging and the charging network, they really didn't want to do a charging network at all, and they said, all right, well, if we, with our charging partners, if they don't step up, then we'll put some stuff where we have to, especially on the adventure side of things. And then, as we saw a couple weeks ago, they launched their own charging network, both high voltage and low voltage, and it's the right move because they saw like I saw the Tesla situation. The customers are raving about supercharger networks, but because they're using standard plugs, they can also use those partners for. So I think this is still an evolution of what they said, but they're just filling in the gaps because you're not going to put your Rivian charger right next to an Electrify America charger.
Yeah, that would be a waste
It's
of
wasteful.
resources, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so you want to put your resource, you want to be very careful with your resources where you're putting it when you have limited resources. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Wow, 1.6 million diesel cars this year. My goodness. I think that would be a good move for them to actually let Ford sell them. Right now, Rivian isn't going to be doing any dealerships, but that doesn't mean that Amazon's not going to buy a bunch of them and then flip them over to Ford, or that Ford's got the money. They might not have. Doesn't mean that they didn't. Ford
Well,
also invested in them.
well, isn't Ford going to be basically a competitor though? I
Right,
mean,
but they
the
did
F one
invest,
fifty
right?
and
Yeah. So I don't know what they got out of their investment. Um, It'd be
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. I mean, if they did do some type of partnership with them to put them in Ford dealerships and sell them there or something, I
Yeah,
mean,
I,
in the
I would,
future, that
I would,
might be good.
I would suspect that.
I know right now they're probably got enough pre-orders not to have
Yeah,
to do that, but
exactly. I would suspect the closest that Ford partnership's going to come for them, aside from them doing stuff for the, they were going to make a Lincoln truck or something to that effect. But I think the closest we see them really get with Ford right now is using the service centers as the base for the mobile techs, as well as for any time you need to bring into the shop, the mobile tech would take your truck maybe to a Ford service as their base. It makes sense.
yeah,
One,
I mean, Ford's already well established and already, got a large footprint everywhere, and it does make sense.
yeah. Uh, Robert Williams says that the diesel sales are down by 60,000. That's good. And the EVs were 17.5. Nice. Um, I think that if we do see any sales partnerships, we'll see them, let you order your truck on Amazon. I don't know if it'd be the same as pre-ordering through Rivian. It's probably going to be pre-configured and just out of their stock, but it might be a good idea for them.
But you get that delivery quick.
2 days, baby.
Let me get that Prime delivery.
I wonder if you could use Amazon Key for that. They just drop it off in the garage. We tried to drop it in the garage, but it was full, so we left it in the driveway. The key was pretty cool too. The key is a carabiner, and kind of like a regular looking fob with the buttons. I hope they have phone key because I'm liking the phone key now that I've had the chance to see it. So, anybody in the audience got questions? Because I'm getting ready to start the pre-selected questions. There were not very many of them this week. Somebody had asked about the Model 3 secret compartment, and I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about there. I mean, you've got the frunk, and you've got the under trunk, and you've got the glove box. I'll have to look into this. I'm not sure what other secret
Are they talking
compartments.
about something within the center console or something, or?
I mean, yeah, you've got the under areas of the center console too, but I'm not entirely sure what they mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I mean, on the S, you had the area in between the fabric and the walls in the trunk, but you couldn't really
Oh,
count on that. Oh,
you know what else?
what's that?
On the Model Y,
Yeah.
you have door pockets.
Yes. Well, the new Model S has door pockets finally, and the Model X, that was one of the things I loved. As soon as I had them, they were there. I was like, yes.
Man, I love that. I
Yeah.
miss that.
Yes.
With my Model S doesn't have that. So
Right. The 2020 Model S doesn't have them. It's like it's been 6 years. You guys can't figure out how to put pockets in the doors. And so finally, the 2021 has got them. It only took them. Somebody said Elon Musk truck. I'm guessing that's talking about the Cybertruck in New York, or the Cybertruck in Terra, Texas.
it
It's
was
it's a
same
cool
truck,
truck. Same truck.
same truck,
I
and
can't
that's the
wait.
same truck that they unveiled at the unveiling, and they broke the glass windows on and all that.
Yep, they did
Um,
test drives. Took it to the Peterson Museum.
so one of the people that I know that went up to New York to go visit it, he
Yeah.
said that he zoomed in and he checked out, and it's really hard to capture with pictures because it's stainless steel, but you can see a little mark on the side of the door where it was hit with the sledgehammer at.
Yeah.
But it's a tiny mark. It's like hard to see,
Like they buffed it
and
out.
but it's no that they probably didn't do anything to it. I mean, it did because
It's
remember when they
hard.
were on
Yeah.
stage, it didn't even look like it had any damage at all, right?
Right. Right. Besides
And
the
he
window
said
breaking.
it's just a tiny mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking about the
The
side
skin.
panels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't look like it had any damage at all. Um, so he said it's a really tiny mark. You could tell, that's where, that's where it was struck with the sledgehammer at.
Absolutely. Yes, Skids and Donuts, this is a Car Guy live stream. Our cars tend to be a little bit silent, but they fast.
Yes.
Oh, you saw the Amazon EV? That is another cool Rivian. So that's another good point there, Robert Williams.
And that's big because I mean, if
that's
they
huge.
make,
It's a full size
make
van.
enough of those, I mean right. And
Yeah.
Amazon, I see those Amazon delivery trucks all the time, and if they can make enough EVs to replace all of their gas fleet with those, that's excellent.
I'd like to get one and make a car camper out of it, because it's a blank slate. The same with
Well,
the.
I know a guy that has an RV, and he said he would love an electric RV if they would start making those.
Exactly.
And the vehicle is big enough for some humongous battery packs to throw in there, and
Yeah.
and then you have your own power source on board. It's just like endless possibilities of what you can do.
Exactly. Yes, Kids and Donuts. That's exactly what we've been saying. Is if you can get around the track, if you can have fun in the streets, why not? What's it matter? Exactly. And yeah, Eddie, I just hope that nobody is taking pot shots at the car when they see it come out, because
That's my biggest fear. I
it
ordered
scares
a
me.
Cybertruck, and I'm like, I just hope nobody starts shooting at me in this thing.
Well, I mean, because it's not impervious, but resistant to small arms fire in the skin. But I have a feeling
Not
that
the
anybody,
windows, but
right?
all these people talk about, just bulletproof glass. No, it's not
Not
bulletproof glass. They
bulletproof
never
glass.
said that. They never said that. Not once did they say the glass was bulletproof. But
They just said the glass was strong. They never once said it was anything spectacular, but strong.
right, they called it armored glass. They said it's strong, and they
Yeah.
were showing that it's stronger than regular glass. And they're throwing steel balls at it, and it's not going through the glass like it would in a normal car. But no, please don't
But
shoot at the truck.
But I think that
Whatever you do.
I think that selective hearing is part of the problem. Why they think that the full self drive package, that is not yet full self driving asterisk, is like there was a guy we saw.
Not just FSD, they think autopilot just means, automatic, just car drives itself. You don't have to do anything at all whatsoever.
That too.
Car take over and let it do it.
But
I mean,
I think some of them are finally starting to grasp that, and so their next I want to call it disingenuous misunderstanding is that they're saying, oh, everything is FSD, like the Texas crash. Oh, it was FSD, and it turns out there wasn't even an autopilot.
oh yeah, blame FSD on everything. Yeah.
And then we saw this gifted individual running around the streets of Southern California in the backseat of his Model 3. And they're like, oh, yeah, the police said they're looking for a guy on full self-drive. And it's like, this guy would have been kicked out of the program already because the car's got the camera in FSD. And if you've been with FSD for any amount of time and you realize that it's even more dangerous than autopilot is, at this stage, you wouldn't trust FSD in the backseat. I mean, I don't understand why he thought that autopilot was good, because my autopilot regularly wants to check my temperature. It's like, ooh.
Well, the limited experience that I've had with it so far, like I said, it's good, but not. I wouldn't trust it.
Exactly, and yeah, Daniel. AP is not AP. On the airplane, the autopilot is basically a heading lock and maybe some AI features, and
And even then, you're in the air. There's less to hit.
there's less to hit. Yes. Yes, exactly. That's the first thing I told Omar when I shared him to him. I was like, "This is why we can't have nice things."
Yes, exactly, Dan.
I just hope that Elon has faith in the regulators that they were going to look at the data and not the numbskulls. But there was a politician in Texas who was asking for clarification because of the Texas crash was reported poorly. He was asking how autopilot works, and I mean, it's good that he's curious, but it's bad that he's being curious from a state of not malice, but like overreaction to the wrong thing, like overreaction to bad data. Because the only reason he even cared was because of what he saw in the news, and what he saw in the news was garbage.
It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked about Tesla Solar 2021 changes. I'm assuming that that was where we talked about the Powerwall Plus. So you get 50% more power from the Powerwall Plus, and it looks like the solar inverter has been integrated into the system, so you don't need a separate... they were using Solar Edge inverters for a long time, as well as a couple other commodity inverters. But now they're using a Tesla inverter, and everything just plugs in. So the Powerwall plugs in between the solar and the rest of the house. And it's also in between the meter, so it's basically the hub for all your power. So if it's designed to be the right size, nothing ever comes out of the house. And if it does, it goes through the Powerwall first before it goes into the meter, which is cool. Somebody asked about...
The good thing about that is then you also not only are you protected against blackouts, but you're protected against brownouts too, because now you have a conditioner in between. So if the
Exactly.
power from the grid gets a little dirty and there's brownout or whatever, your electronics don't you never have to worry about them experiencing the brownout because it's getting all its power from the Powerwall,
Yeah.
which
I
is
also think
that's
this
pretty
will...
good.
I also think this will help with the traditional Powerwall install, Powerwall 1 and the original Powerwall 2. If the battery was full and it tried to turn off your solar, and the grid was out, your frequency of your power in the house would be adjusted, and so your clocks would all be off by a little bit. So I'm wondering if now that the inverter is not directly in line with the house, they can send the signal to the solar cells without sending the signal into the house at the higher rate, and so your clocks might not be off anymore. The AC clocks, obviously, because the battery clocks and the atomic clocks, they don't care. They'll get their signal where they get it from.
Good point.
Yeah. Mr. Bean at the back of the Mini on the top of the car. Yeah. Our friend Brian from I1 Tesla, he's actually running cross country right now with his Overlander on his Model Y. He's actually. Have you seen that, Omar? Where he built the tent with the solar on top of his Model Y.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So that's Brian with I1 Tesla, and it's pretty cool stuff. Let me see if he's got a picture of it. Oh yeah, he do. He's got a short video of it. Let's see. And yes, folks, I do know my proper grammar. I'm just being informal. It's fun. So there's his Model Y. He's got solar panels here and up here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ultimate camping mode there.
Yeah. I was hoping he'd show more of the car in that video. He's showing the campsite. There we go. That's him at the Supercharger on the way to that lake. So this folds down into a nice box, like a roof box, and when you want to get in, it's got the nice ladder. You can pull up behind you if you need to, and you can
That's
close
cool.
the windows if you want. Yeah. I wonder if the extra solar panels are the same ones from before, because he had those solar panels that look like this on top of the box to charge his battery bank, and not the car's battery, but for his phone and the lights and everything. It's got lights underneath, and I like it. It's cool. I wouldn't personally do it because I don't like taking my car off the road, but if he invited me to come with him, I'd go. That looks cool.
It's not for me personally, but I like the creativity of it.
Yes. And so that was really cool. And so he's traveling across country now, and I'm eagerly awaiting the report on his adventures. And where was I with that? So yeah, that's one form of traveling in a Tesla. Somebody brought up traveling in a Tesla, and then there's the type that Omar and I do, where we just go across the country. We start home with a full charge, and then we hop from supercharger to supercharger. We stay at hotels, stay with friends, and then we turn around and come home. Yeah, I was glad that Disney had some ChargePoint chargers. Somebody asked about every Tesla in 2021. I'm not sure what that could mean. Maybe every Tesla in 2021 is sold out. Maybe.
Not quite.
No, we're halfway there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
The 3 and the Y is still available,
Yeah.
but yeah, we are getting there.
Yeah. But Robert William, if it's the battery backup, how does it do if you start feeding it dirty power? Like if the power is too fast or too slow, does it still keep time with the battery, or does it lose time until the power goes completely out?
Because it's still getting power. So
It's valid power,
wouldn't
it's
it
just a little too fast or a little too
wouldn't
slow.
it not get it from the battery since it still has power?
Yeah,
I would think that it would only switch to the battery if it didn't have power.
that's what I'm thinking. Like with the computer UPSs, a lot of folks who still keep the UPS on the computer after they get the Powerwall, they say that you'll hear it beep if it's getting over frequency or under frequency, and it'll hold for a good 10 minutes. And then it realizes this is just how it's going to be, and it just accepts the higher frequency. All right, so somebody else asked about Model Y versus Model X size comparison. Uh, we'll go a little bit differently, and we'll give you a Model Y versus a Model S comparison.
So, well, you know what? I've seen and sat in it. I've actually driven all three cars. Um, the Model Y and the Model 3 are very similar. The Y is just basically taller. Now, the Y compared to the S, it's really interesting because I thought originally looking at it that I would feel more comfortable in the S as far as legroom being stretched out or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but the seats themselves are actually higher in the Y, so your legs don't have to be as
Straight
straight
out.
out. And so because of that, your legroom actually feels, just in my opinion, a little bit more comfortable in the Y than it is in the S.
That was my
Also,
feeling as well.
getting in and out of the
Oh
Y
yeah,
is a lot easier as well because you're higher
we're
off the
higher up.
ground.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as the size goes, I was looking at the trunk area and the frunk and everything. It's so it's hard to compare because my car I have an older S, and because I have the older S, I have the humongous frunk that's just like ridiculous.
It's bigger than mine.
Um, so I'm the frunk in my S is bigger than the frunk in the Model Y.
Mm-hmm.
However, the frunk in the Model Y is a decent size and it's deeper. It like then comparatively, it's going to be bigger, deeper than the Model 3, and you're going to definitely get more cargo space out of the Model Y. Even the area that's underneath, when you open the trunk and you lift the floor thing up, and you have the area underneath, that's deeper
Yeah.
and bigger. That's bigger than in my Model S.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
I'll add a couple comparisons to the X. It's almost the same size as the X. You get a little bit smaller front trunk and a little bit smaller hatch area. And if you get the third row is inches smaller, but that inches they translate into feeling significantly smaller. But if you go with the 5 seat versus the 5 seat, you're just really looking at just less cargo room. It's for the human space, it's about the same, and it's a little bit shorter, just like the Model 3 is a little bit shorter than the Model S, and it doesn't have the height adjustable suspension, and it's a little bit slower. But it's a great choice, and you save a lot of money.
oh yeah, you're looking at like a 40 grand difference between
Yes,
the Model Y and the Model X. I
yes.
mean,
They were closer for a minute, and I was wondering how they expected you to not just jump up, and then they fixed that. Oh, you want to jump up, eh? Yeah, we got you. Somebody asked Model 3 hidden features. That's very similar to the secret compartment question. As far as hidden features, there are plenty of little things that all the Tesla bragging channels get into. Like, ooh, my car can smart summon, or ooh, my car can classic summon in a straight line. Uh, I promise I'll do more of the basics with the Tesla, but I have to be careful how they come off. I don't want to come off like the Tesla bragging channels, the TikToks. I want it to be useful information, and I do sometimes get a little take advantage of the fact I forget that I've been driving Teslas now for about 5 years, and And I forget that some of this stuff isn't just a given. Somebody was asking about how to turn off the air the other day, and it's like, oh yeah, you just hold down the fan and then the air turns off. And they're like, wow, I didn't know this. And it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that anybody was looking, so I never made a video on it. But if you have any questions about it like that, I can make videos on these things. I just if I know I'm answering a question, it doesn't come off as a know-it-all. But if I just make these videos and I make them too basic, and then people think I'm bragging about the Tesla, and I'm not. It's like they're like, yeah, oh, you've got air conditioner. Everybody's got air conditioner. I know, but folks didn't know how to turn it off.
Folks don't know necessarily how to use it. What's funny
Exactly.
is when we went to pick up the Model Y, just as we were about to pull off, it started raining.
Oh,
And so I was like, oh yeah, wipers. Okay,
they moved them on you.
wait a minute. Oh, okay, this is how this works. It took me like a second.
Right.
I figured it out.
Yeah, right there on the screen, or you can hit the
Because
the
it is on the
wipe once.
stock, and
Yeah.
you can hit it, the button on the stock, to wipe once.
And once
But
you do
then,
that, it changes to the wipe interface where you can set it to auto, on, whatever.
yeah, when you set that, it automatically pops up on the screen.
Yeah,
Lets
I
you
think
say,
it didn't
oh,
used to
okay,
do
you want
that.
it auto on.
It used to just wipe once, and you're like sitting there, like, how do I get more of these wipes? But that's the beauty of a software-defined car is, they notice that a lot of people are hitting that multiple times while they're trying to figure out where the card is. So if you hit it once, here's the card, and if you don't touch it, it goes back to whatever card you were looking at. But if you did need it, whoo, it's right there, ready to go.
It's right there, right. I'm like, oh, great, there it is. Okay, auto. All right, we're
Yes.
good.
Yeah, so if you want any of these little tutorial videos, hit me, hit Omar on social, here on the channel, and I will be glad to make a quick video for you. It's just, I if I'm doing it on my own without a prompt, it's harder for me because I want to not come off as a braggart, because I'm not one of the Tesla TikTokers. I'm an information source. Somebody asked about Model E rocket engine. I think you mean the 2020 Tesla Roadster, the new Tesla Roadster SpaceX edition. That one doesn't exactly have a rocket engine. It has the cold gas thrusters from the rocket, and it has a compressor that sits there and compresses air all day long, ready for you to hit that button, and then the car can actually hover off the ground up to did he say a meter or half a meter? He adjusted it recently.
I thought he said as high as 6 feet, but then I don't.
So 2 meters then. Wow.
But I think they may have changed that.
Yeah.
They
Well,
may have realized that's a little too much.
yeah. He was worried about what happens if you enter at speed and then hover, and then physics says you're going to keep going in the original direction with inertia. Thank you, Anders. Yeah, I need to get on a walk today after this stream. It's a beautiful day here too. They're saying it might rain, but it's not raining now.
See, it's cloudy here. It was raining a little bit earlier. Now it's not raining, but still cloudy. So
Yeah.
not great here.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert William, a dirty car shows that you use it, and I do like to keep mine clean, but I like them to get dirty so I can clean them. So in the case of Brian's, off-roading, and in the case of the Cybertruck, out there in the construction site, that's what you want to see. No pavement princesses.
But I tell you what, the Cybertruck does clean up well.
Yes.
So they had it all nice and dirty, driving around a construction site and everything down there in Houston. And when they brought it up to New York, they obviously cleaned it first. And I mean, you couldn't tell it. You couldn't tell
Right.
it's ever been anywhere near any dirt.
Right. And I like the way that it looks when it's clean, and those lights at night. Oh man, the neon bouncing off of it.
Oh,
It
at
looked like
night that
cyberpunk.
looks.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
when the pictures that I saw and the video that I saw from when it was driving around Times Square
Hmm.
at night was just phenomenal. It was amazing.
Yeah. So with that the coal gas thrusters from the SpaceX package, so you're going to lose your rear seat in the Roadster. So instead of being a 4-seater, it'll be 2. Not that the rear seat was really all that much for before. I think it might be for like maybe a toddler or a baby seat.
Or basically a couple grocery bags.
A couple grocery bags, a really height challenged friend, like under 5 feet. They, I think the only reason it even had the seats was for insurance purposes, because a 4-seater is easier to insure than a 2-seater, and So once that's done, you've got this compressor that runs anytime you might enter sport mode, and what it does is it just compresses regular atmosphere into this COPV, composite overwrapped pressure vessel. It's basically a bottle that can hold the pressure, and it's the same one they use on the rockets, but instead of nitrogen or any other gases, they're putting in just atmospheric air, which is what, 78% nitrogen, and then when you or the car hits the button for performance mode, and if it needs heavy braking, it'll jet out to the front. If it needs acceleration, it'll jet out to the rear. If it hovers, it'll empty the thing down into the ground. And some folks were curious about if it's even legal, and I would say it probably isn't legal on the streets, unless it's an emergency braking situation. So what I expect that we'll see is, since the car is always connected, once you get onto a racetrack or other unmaintained road, then it might allow you to unleash it. But we'll see more once it becomes available.
So I think it. I don't see. I think it might actually be legal only because, well, probably not the hovering part, but
definitely not the hovering part.
but using it for additional braking or using it for additional thrust might actually not be illegal, because I don't think the lawmakers thought of that, right? So there's like no laws against it, because it's not something they thought of.
Right, because it's not like they had a car that Dodge made a while ago as a prototype. That one got some laws made against flames jetting out the back of the car, but this isn't flames. This is cold gas.
Right.
You're right. I mean, and trucks right now already release pressure as they go with the air brakes, trucks and buses.
Right.
So you're right. It might be perfectly legal.
And as far as emissions goes, I mean, you're letting out air.
Yeah, regular air that you sucked in. Yeah.
It's just sucking in air and then letting out that same air. So it's not.
Yeah. I think the only way they could get you there is if you sucked in the air next to a factory and you put it out next to the solar panel farm. Something like that. But I can't wait to experience that. I would love to experience that. I've had a couple of opportunities to sit in a classic roadster. I just haven't, because it's so small and I'm so large in every direction.
I've driven a classic roadster.
Yeah.
Those things are amazing. Like, I didn't realize until I drove one, really just how fast and sporty and so. They are a little awkward, and they're tight, and they're hard to get in and out of, right?
Yeah.
But once you're in it,
yes,
those things are fun to drive.
Absolutely.
And it's faster than I thought it was.
Yep. Got another request for hidden features of Model 3. Okay, we'll work on it. Tesla winter tires. Well, we're coming into the spring, but definitely get some winter tires. I am looking at, for my next set, I'm looking at the SUV version of the Cross Contacts. For Model 3 and Model S, I would look at the Cross Contact 2. They are all-season tires, but they actually get the Triple Mountain Snowflake designation because they're real winter tires. They just happen to be formulated to handle the summer and wet and dry just fine. So you can run them all year long. They're very aggressive. They look like arrows. Let me see if I can't pull them up.
So getting winter tires, if you're if you live in a climate in a place where you get a lot of snow or ice storms or anything like that, winter tire make the world of difference for your traction, for being able to get around and not have issues. Another thing that swapping out your tires does for you is that it kind of prolongs the life of your tires, because now you're only using them, half the year. So you're using one set, let's say 7 months out the year, and you're using the other set the other 5 months out the year, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whenever it is that you decide to swap, whatever that gauge is, depending on, I guess, where you live and climate of where you're at.
Yeah. So they're called the Cross Climate, sorry, not Cross Contact. The Cross Climate 2 by Michelin. And like Omar said, if you just go for a dedicated winter tire, it'll extend the life of both sets of tires. But if you go for an all season like this, that's actually really a winter tire. This is what I was talking about. The tread is super aggressive. Try to make it bigger for you, and they don't want me to. There we go. So we can see it end on, and you can see it's super, super aggressive. And it also works. Folks have taken it out to the track. I don't know the race track, but like to a circuit track, and had fun with it. And they said it did just. There we go. They said it did just fine. You can see it's got the rain siping, and then it's got this aggressive. Sorry, the rain would be the thicker one. It's got this aggressive siping for the snow, and it got great reviews here. All sorts of different vehicles, and some folks have put it on their Model 3s and Model S's and talk highly of it. It doesn't handle the weight of the Model X, so I'm going to get the last year's version, the regular Cross Climate, but they make a SUV edition, so it's got some of the improvements that you see on the 2, but not all of them. This is not an endorsement for Michelin. It's just what I'm considering for my next tire. The stock tires are great, and Tesla recommends them, and I have not had any problems with the stock tires. The Michelin Primacy MXV on my Model S or the Continental.
That's what I
Cross
used in
Climate.
my Model
Yeah.
S was the Michelin
Yeah.
Primacies.
Yep. And then the cross contact, the Continental cross contact, I think is what's standard on mine. I like them too. Can't get into the. Yeah, that was my problem. Is when I got into an original NSX, and my head was poking out of the car, and it's unreasonable, but it made me not even want to get into the Tesla Roadster when I realized that it was smaller than that. Eddie said winter tires. Does Omar have a channel?
I do not, but thank you for asking.
Oh, okay. So you have the same weather we have. It's cloudy and just ended raining, or it's cloudy and just about to start. But it's a nice day.
Yeah, it's still cloudy here, but at least it stopped raining. It was raining a little earlier.
Yeah. Fluffy jumping. All right, let me close Michelin here. They're not paying for any advertising. We had enough free advertising for me. Hey, Michelin, if you're interested, give me some tires and we'll talk.
Right?
I want those tires. I told you, the Cross Climate SUV. But if you got something else in mind, I've got the P100D. We'll talk. Oh, man. Anybody else got any questions? We can call this an early day if you want. You got time to show us around the car? I don't know where you parked at.
Yeah. So, let me see. See if I can switch the video here.
Okay. And this is a 2021 or a 2020?
This is a 2021.
Cool. So it's got the heat
All
pump
right,
and
there we
everything. Nice.
Yes, it does.
And the new
So,
console?
right. So it has the wireless charging pad for your cell phones there, right underneath. Um, it has a nice little cubby hole here, nice amount of space in there.
Yeah. I like
Like I
that little
said,
trim inside the cup holder. The little
the
circle
doors have their
pockets.
the little pockets. Yes, it has a little trim in here inside
Yeah.
the cup holders. Um, Another nice bit of space down here in the middle under your armrest, which is
There's your
nice.
secret compartment.
Yeah, a little secret. There's your secret compartment there.
Just a Model Y,
Which
just a Model 3 secret compartment. Uh-oh, we lost him. He'll be back. I think he hit the back button. Get him changed. Omar's back.
Sorry about that.
Hit the back button.
Oh, the joys of the cell phone. I actually hit. I don't know what I hit. Anyway, I think I tapped a link or something. I don't know. Anyway, so you have your little power
Yeah,
thing here,
I like that. Yeah.
in there inside, which is cool. Um, oh, you know what? I forgot to check this.
What's that?
does
Oh,
this have
have a
lights?
light.
It does.
Yeah.
It's lighted.
And then we
And,
talked about last
and
week
this
that
is
how the
this is interesting because it's like magnetic.
yeah, it's magnetic
So
like a
this
Surface
will
or
actually
iPad.
stick and stay there.
Yep. And then we talked about the catch for that being magnetic last week.
Right.
Go ahead and show them. Pull it towards you and see how it
So
disconnects.
this actually sticks.
Well, that, but the like if you were to block the sun from the driver's window,
Oh, this.
see the end is magnetic. You went mute. There you go.
Right. So it's not a metal catch. It's actually magnetic.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good because you don't accidentally break the catch. I broke so many of those over the years, and I'm super gentle with my cars.
yep. And
I
what's
think it's the sun does
that's
work on them.
interesting how that kind of
Yeah.
So you don't even need to pull it down. You just
Yeah.
move it.
They took that from the Model X. The Model X has it on the end of the arc, but it's the same concept.
Yep.
Yep.
Obviously when you get out the car, just like the Model 3, you hit the button.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. And then let's go around to the back here.
All right. Seagulls.
Yes. I live by the shore.
Yeah.
So this is a really decent sized trunk, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with
It's
you.
got good door
I mean,
pockets too.
you could fit like some really like humongous bags back here,
Yeah.
no problem, and still have all your full seating for your passengers, and the little cubby holes on the side, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then because it doesn't have the third row seat, you got some space under here, which is interesting.
That's bigger than the one on the
It's not-
Model X, the one that's got the 5 seats.
Now, and this is not very deep right
Yeah.
here, but it's wide. It's like the full length of the back of the vehicle, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then here, I mean, this is deep.
Another secret
This is-
compartment.
This compartment here is really deep.
Oh,
So
I see. Yeah, Robert Williams. We have a lot of tire manufacturers because of that. They've got Bridgestone, Firestone. I think everybody's had one or two. I like the little light in the hatch there. So
yeah,
that's
make it
the
easier.
is that the standard wheels or is that the plus size wheels?
This is the standard wheels.
Okay.
So this is what it would. This is just the standard size wheels that it would come with.
Damn.
Which is interesting because I think this might be.
It
are
should
these
be a
the
wheel
hubcap
cover.
type?
Yeah, it's
I think
hubcap.
they're wheel covers.
Yeah.
I don't want to take them off right now. It's not actually my car.
Right. The worst thing you want to do is break a clip and have to buy a whole set of wheel covers.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, sir, they don't come in one packs. You gotta buy all 4.
Right. Now, what's interesting is, so this has door pockets in the,
Oh, seat
you know,
backs.
behind it,
Mine doesn't
which-
have those.
which is nice. Because
Yeah.
my Model S did not have that.
Yeah. And then you got Type C in the back. I like that because nobody's making USB-A chargers anymore.
Right. So they're trying to future-proof themselves and put the.
Is there a cup
Type C
holder
back
underneath
here.
that? Like if you go further down, is there a cup holder? Yep, I see it.
Wait.
bottom.
Where?
The bottom. Towards the floor.
What am I looking at?
You should be able to push hard on it, and it should release a cup holder. On the floor.
Oh, on the bottom?
Yeah. Is it?
No, it's
No?
not.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Oh, you know why? You know why? Because on the Model Y, you got the middle row.
It has
Yeah.
the middle.
Yep.
So it's here, in the middle.
That's why. In the Y.
Which is interesting because it doesn't flip. This doesn't. I thought like this would flip down from the top,
Right.
and you know how they rest here,
Right.
and the whole thing is that, but it actually doesn't. It flips from the middle,
Yeah.
and so there's
Use
space
those
underneath
armrests
still.
and use space underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
And then I like that each of the seat backs can fold independently, so you can have the middle down by itself without having the left or right down.
Oh, here's something that a lot of Model S complainers were complaining. I mean, a lot of Model S owners have complained about in the past
X2
is not having
coat hooks.
hooks, for, if you pick up your dry cleaning or something.
Yeah.
And then you have
Hang up your
hooks for it.
jacket. Yeah, I like
Or
it.
you, right.
The other thing I like is that roof, because from right now where you're
This
standing, all you see
whole
is
thing
sky.
is just nothing but sky. It's just the whole thing is just a one big huge glass roof,
It is
and all you see
phenomenal.
is sky, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and
I
then
like that roof.
those seats from the trunk, you've got levers that electronically flip the seats down. I like that too.
Oh
I like
yes, it does have that. There,
those speakers are huge in that tailgate. Look at that thing. There's two of them.
here's the buttons to
Yeah, those
flip
are the
down the
buttons.
seats over there on the sides. Yeah, the speakers are huge, and the sound is amazing in this thing.
Nice.
It has a lot of speakers in this vehicle, and I believe there's subwoofers in the back. I'm not sure, but it knocks.
Yeah, it should have one or two subwoofers.
That's probably what
Nice.
we were looking at. We're probably two subwoofers back there because it definitely knocks.
Nice.
Um, I'm not going to blast the music because over videos you're just not going to get the same sound effect. It's not going to sound the
That
same.
and
So
Sony would probably take my channel down again.
right, that too. Let me pop the front.
Okay. Yeah, you'll get a good comparison of the new frunk with the heat pump. 'Cause I haven't seen the new one. I saw the one that didn't have the heat pump. All right, I like it. I like it.
So here's the front.
Yeah.
It's wide,
Yeah.
and it's fairly deep,
Yeah.
but it's not as big as what I'm used to, because what I'm used
Right.
to goes basically from here all the way back to like here,
Yeah.
as far as the size of it.
It's almost the size of mine. I
But
like
it's
it.
serviceable.
Yeah.
It's definitely usable.
Much more than the Model 3 and the new Model S. The new Model S has got a tiny frunk. Robert Williams is asking about the
Here
12
you
volt
go. Here's the
outlet.
one fluid that you put in the car,
The one
the washer
fluid.
fluid.
Is there a 12 volt in the trunk? Like on my Model X, there's a 12 volt in the trunk.
Oh, good question. Let me look.
And then you can give us another look at the one on the inside as well.
So I don't see.
So
Oh wait,
mine-
there is one.
Okay, I was about to say mine's on the left. Yep, so you get one in the
There
back,
it is.
and then you showed us the one in the front, but we didn't get a good look at it.
So
I love that power tailgate.
it's got power.
It's quieter than mine, that's for sure.
It is quiet.
I also noticed it didn't beep. Did it beep?
It didn't beep that time.
Okay.
I think the first time I did it, it beeped.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Well, a lot of people are complaining about any beeps, so having half the beeps is okay. All right, I like that. And you said the 12 volt was in the armrest?
Yeah, it's inside the armrest. In here.
It
There's
was like a lever that you push?
one right
Oh,
here.
okay, there it is. There's one there.
It just
All right.
it flips open.
Okay. I like the way it's at the top, so you don't get change falling in it or something.
Yep. And I'm trying to feel around to see if there's just regular USBs, but I don't feel any.
They might be underneath the front, but you're right. They would probably be in the armrest. They used to be under a cover under there.
Oh wait, here it is.
You found them? Let's take a look.
Wait, is this it? You know,
Ben says-
I wish I had a cable with. Yes, they are. They're USB-Cs,
Okay.
and they're actually located right
In the back.
right
Okay.
here
Oh, I like that.
in the back of that. So
Easy to reach.
so,
Dan
so
said
they're,
jinkies.
they're right in here. There's two of them right there.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. And then there's one in the glove box. Is that a Type C or Type A? In the glove box?
it is one in the glove box. So these are Type C
Yeah.
inside of here. Now let me see what's in the glove box. It should be Type A in the glove box for the
That's what I'm
sensor
thinking.
mode.
I hope they switch that to Type C eventually too, though, because you can get a faster drive. That way, though, maybe they can eventually turn on the extra cameras for Sentry mode. This is a decent sized glove box. Got your documents.
I'm trying to see where is the.
Probably towards the MCU.
It's a matter of.
Did they not equip it? Look on your screen and see if it's got the dash cam icon
Wait a minute.
near the clock.
Is it? Well,
Look up on the screen by the clock. See if they even put one in it. They might not have put it in yet. Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. It's recording.
But where in the world is it?
That's a good question. It's probably going to be silver if it's the standard. If they haven't changed their standard yet.
Let me get in on the other side and look.
Okay. I love that the door handles are black now and the trim is black. I didn't care for the chrome.
Oh
Especially
yeah,
the-
I like the black better.
Especially the chrome on the wing mirrors when you're driving into the sun and that thing hits you in the eye. It's like ah. All right. There it is, right there. It's pointing down.
Oh, is this it?
It looks like
Yep,
it.
this is it. This is it.
So it's Type A.
That's the USB. So it's Type A. If I pull this out, I don't want to corrupt any data, but yep, Type A.
Oh, okay. And it's 3.0. Okay.
It's the
I
yeah.
like the little Tesla logo on it. I would definitely put an SSD in there instead of that one. I burned through
I
so
would
many
too.
burned through so many Samsung USBs on Sentry mode.
But the good thing is, it's inside the glove.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you don't have access to the car,
yeah. Tap the screen before you hit that door button in my Sentry mode on you. The screen went off.
hey,
Okay, good. Yeah, Jerry, Zach from Jerry Rig Everything. He let the screen turn off and he got out of his car and he got a bunch of that Volume 11 Takata on Fugue.
USB malfunction.
Yeah, it did.
Unplugged it did malfunction. How about that?
Yeah.
It's telling me to unplug it, so I'm gonna unplug it. See what?
Okay,
Okay. Now what?
plug it back in. Swipe that away. Swipe that away. Okay, now plug it back in.
That's interesting.
All right, plug it back in.
See. Yep, I plugged it back in. And
There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Yep.
That's more better.
Yeah. Before you give the car back, do this. Go to service, or I think it's service. Might be security. Try security. And do you see one for format USB?
Oh, save clips on honk. Why don't they have that?
I don't know. That there's a tip right there for everybody. Save clips on honk. Turn that on when you get
You
your
want
car.
that on. That. I mean, why
It's
would
a
you
lot
not want
easier.
that on?
It's a lot easier to remember to hit that horn after something bad happens than to remember to go in before 10 minutes is up and hit the save icon. Oof. It's cost me a couple
And
clips.
especially, if something happens, you get in a traffic accident. A lot of times, you hit the horn anyway
With your body?
before the crash, trying to warn the other driver that
That
they're
too.
doing something stupid.
Yeah.
So, so you may hit the horn anyway.
Yes.
So yeah,
There we go.
why would they have this off?
Some places they don't honk as much as we do.
No, the cabin overheat. Why would they have that off?
Oh, it uses a little bit extra battery, and if somebody takes it home and doesn't plug it in.
I wonder if it's. At least they didn't limit it on me. That's
Right?
off.
What software version is running on it? Under service or software?
21.
2021.
21.4.15.
That's what I'm running. Okay. So that's why you had the same experience as me as the yellow lights.
Okay, there you go.
Click on more information. I'm curious what they've equipped that thing with.
What do you want?
More information under the software? 12 volt doesn't give milliamp. They might not specify it, but it's probably just whatever standard. But yeah, I noticed that some of them say, 3 amps, 12 amps on the covers.
They gave me premium audio system. That's why it sounds so excellent.
Nice.
Which I think they all come with now.
Yeah, it's standard unless you get the SR, but they didn't ever actually make the SR. So there might be like a handful of these running around with the basic audio. Basically, the speaker's just turned off. What else they
Got
got?
the full self-driving computer.
Okay.
Oh, garage door opener not installed. So is that is that something they have to physically do, or is that something that you
Yeah.
pay for an upgrade in the
You
software?
you order it and then they mail it to you, and if you open it, they won't install it. And then you hand that box. It comes in the mail to your mobile tech, and they install it to your car.
Oh, so the mobile tech could come out and install it.
Yep.
Okay.
Or if you get really lucky with logistics, you can order it. They'll mail it to you, and then you bring it in the day before pickup, and they can have it ready for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier just to
And
do the mobile tech.
I would, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. But then what's the price on that?
$300 installed, and then if Jersey charges you extra for tax, I don't know.
I hate that
Hmm.
because it came standard on the S. I just hate that they charge you extra for that.
Well, there's so many people who don't have a garage or don't use it with the car. It's a good place for them to save some money.
I mean, I get why they did it.
Yeah,
I
and then
just,
they also have the license fee to HomeLink, because I'm sure if they could use the technology open source, they would probably have still done it. But if they're paying HomeLink a license on every car and it's not being used, I understand. I don't like it, but I
I
understand.
get it. I understand it. I just don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else that you noticed that you like or don't like about it?
Well, one of the things I noticed is that the computer is actually um, more responsive and quicker than my computer, than
Yes.
my car is. I mean, and interestingly enough, the web browser was actually somewhat usable. Like in my
Yeah.
car, it's not even remotely usable to the point where I don't, I don't try. Like I can't even use Google. Like I
Yes.
just don't try to use anything
Yes.
at all.
Yeah. This one depends on the site, but it's still usually pretty good. Sometimes it's a little slower than it used to be. I'm hoping that the next update restores some of that speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's still slow, but at
Yeah.
least I'm actually able to use it.
You know what I need to try? I need to try using the browser on my Wi-Fi. I'm curious. Well, no, even over Wi-Fi, it still goes through the Tesla VPN. So I'm wondering if some of that is Tesla's saving on the connection speed or something. So does this
Should
one
I
have the
replace
the noises, the boom
the
boxes and
horn?
stuff? Yeah, it does have boombox. You can replace the horn. What are the options they give you?
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You get fart, posh. I don't know what posh is.
Click it.
You get toss a coin, goat,
Do them
old horn.
all. Do them all. That is pretty posh. Open the window when you do that, so we can hear it clear. All right, go ahead. What was that?
It's toss a coin. It's actually playing like a song.
That was like from a movie or something. That was
Is that
goat.
like a screaming goat?
Yeah, the screaming goat. What was that one?
The old horn, old school horn.
Ooga. Yes.
An applause. Okay. The ta-da.
Okay.
Okay. Shut up, stupid seagull. So
What
it
was
has
that?
like
What was that
the
one?
the drum thing, like
Oh, drum. Okay.
you know.
Uh, some of those aren't very good horns. Yeah.
I think I'm keeping that one.
Ah, the cucaracha.
I'm keeping the DJ horn.
DJ horn. Okay, and then for your noisemaker, you can do like ice cream truck and stuff. What they got there?
Well, is rainforest the default? Oh no.
No, it's not the default. The default is some sort of noisemaker.
Yeah, I've heard it and I don't like it.
You
Oh,
don't like it at all.
coconuts.
Ah, see, do the coconuts. Hit again. Oh yeah, like the Monty Python.
Let's see. Rock and roll.
Yeah, it has a high, low, and then it has the pedestrian warning speaker. So when you've got the customized horn override, it will play the regular horn as well as the sound effect. If you're in drive, if you're not in drive, it'll just play the sound effect. What's that one? It's singing?
Rock and roll.
Oh, rock and roll. Okay.
Polynesian elevator music.
Ah, yeah. Let's hear that one. He was bragging about that one.
I don't hear it though.
Can you turn it up? Does it let you?
Doesn't let me turn up the volume.
That one's really quiet.
That one's too quiet. I don't like it.
There's a guy talking about putting an amp on his.
The snake jazz is pretty quiet too.
Yeah. I think that's a callback to the S&P 500, the Snake Jazz and Polynesian elevator music. S&P. He loves Easter eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Play ice cream music. What's that one?
It's a harp.
Oh, okay. A harp and a seagull.
Yeah, we're hearing the seagulls.
I think they're excited.
Am I playing your music? Is that your song?
That's our jam, man. Oh yeah. I got candy, free candy.
It's the ice cream man.
Rolling your neighborhood doing that. Playing the ice cream song and the DJ horn.
Well, I'm definitely keeping that DJ horn.
All right, smash the horn real quick
American Wow.
with your actual physical horn.
What's that?
Smash the horn button. No, on the car, on the wheel.
I just wanted to hear what the last one sounded like.
Oh, I got you.
Caribbean music.
It sounds all right.
All right. So I'm gonna go with that, and let's go with the DJ horn.
Okay. People be like, what?
Oh look, it just say dash cam footage.
Oh, it does
Because I
that
hit the
too?
horn.
Nice.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That was fun.
Oh, I was getting a phone call.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just got a phone call.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call this.
What do you
We'll
want?
go ahead and call this a day, and then I'm gonna go ahead and roll the outro. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can hit that join button down below. If not, that's okay. And we want to thank you all for your time watching us today. So let's roll it.